yes, this is the Rastafari Samurai, never leaving you dry in your eye. I approve this message nationwide. We are here once again, and we have a special guest tonight. And she's straight from what, Ottawa, right?
Yep, that's right.
And that's DJ Karyen?
Yep,
Karyen.
you got it right. Yep.
All right. See. How do you feel tonight, girl?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm just chilling, enjoying my penthouse, as you can see. So yeah, I'm good.
Nice. So you're a DJ. How long you been DJing for? Mind me asking. Let's start off with that.
Man, it's been a minute. I'm an OG. So I got my start in the early 2000s,
Okay.
probably around like 2005. I
Okay.
started learning from another DJ that I knew on the scene. He
All
had a
right.
clothing store and he had some turntables set up there. And I asked him start learning how to DJ. I had the passion for it, from a much younger age, but I was always so I guess I was a little too shy and too scared to do it. But kind of getting older and being out there and being on the scene, I just got the bug and I just had to do it. I had to overcome my fears and kind of find a way to make it happen.
So from the passion of music, I would have to say like you're shy in the beginning, right? So like, what broke you out of that mold?
It was just the vibe and the energy on the scene. It was something I was like, yo, okay, like I have to
Well,
do this.
you've been to
Like, who cares how
parties.
scared you are? Like I had
Well,
to,
well, you've been to parties. You've seen
yeah.
DJs, and you've seen the flow. You've seen the energy and all of that. Like, what was the niche right there? You said, you know, this is for me. Like, in fact, I should begin asking who have you grown up and have inspired you as well.
Well, music has always been a part of my life from little. It started with my dad. He was always playing calypso and soca music in the house.
Okay, all right.
But I
Oh,
wasn't
okay.
necessarily a fan of that kind of music when I was a kid. I was more into like, Michael Jackson, Madonna, always walking around with my dad's stereo until he finally got my own. So I was, making tapes and things off the radio. So that tells you, I go way back. When you're making tapes off the radio, yeah, it's been a minute. So yeah, I've always enjoyed music, but I really, really started, diving into it probably more in in the 90s, the
All
golden era
right.
hip hop. That's kind of where that was my thing. That's how I came up, in the golden era hip hop. That's where I
Yeah,
started.
the golden era, like with R&B and all of that. Besides the hip hop, come on, we can't leave R&B out there, you know.
Yeah, R&B and hip
Yo,
hop. Yes, you're right.
yeah, because on the real, some of that's been missing nowadays. Like some of that mix. But you with speaking of mixing, like how do you like come together with certain mixes you would think is right? You know what I mean? Like I know you've been going through your crates. Well, it's files now instead
Yeah,
of crates.
definitely started in the crates.
So like how
Um,
do you like I guess it's like maybe the vibe or the party you're gonna be DJing or something like that.
so do you mean like when I'm out at a club, like how do I kind of choose what I'm going to play, or do you think like in general, like when I'm kind of just picking music that I
Or
might?
do you try to like accumulate like to that crowd of maybe of that theme or whatnot? That's what I'm thinking. Maybe you have to, or you just play whatever it is.
Well, I am a multi-genre DJ. For the most part, now I'm playing a lot of soca and Afrobeats at the parties that I'm at. So
Okay.
soca, Afrobeats, and dancehall. So a lot of the stuff that I'm downloading and adding to my crates are from those genres. And a lot of the time, I honestly like, especially when the music is new and it might not necessarily be played in the clubs yet. I kind of just choose what I vibe to. I'm someone who's attracted to kind of like heavy beats and bass lines and a lot of melodic type of music. So if that's what kind of catches my ear, that's what I'll kind of add to my crates and along with, the stuff that's more known, but that's kind of how I, build out what I have.
Do you get any artists like sending music to you, like like well like the reggae man and like maybe dub plates or something like that, like the feel out, the crowd or whatnot, or
You know what?
unreleased or
Yeah,
something.
I do get sent music all the time. Unfortunately, it's hard for me to get to it and sit there and listen to it and provide feedback. Um, yeah, I've got a lot on my plate and I manage my own artist as well.
Okay.
but yeah, that's something that's in the back of my mind, and I actually had come up with an idea for that, but I'm not going to spill the beans yet. It's something I'm
All
working
right.
on, something to help independent artists, but it's something I want to try to do more, to
Okay.
support independent artists who are trying to get their music out there and to give them the time and like listen to the music and give them some feedback because we're such DJs are such an important part of breaking the
Yeah.
music and sharing that with the culture. So I want to make an effort to do more of that.
Well, you were saying you have artists you're working with
I
that you
have
work.
one artist I'm working with actually, and well, he was part of the last Loud Army Unsanctioned event, and you
Okay.
got to interview him as
And
King
who's that?
Moses.
Okay. See,
Yeah, King
nice.
Moses. He's a soca and Afrobeats artist
Yeah.
out in Toronto
He
there.
had
So
enough energy there for sure, for sure. That's a definite. That's a definite for sure. I have to
yeah,
say. I hope you'll be working with a lot of artists like with that energy.
we'll see. We're building. We're still building, so we'll see what happens in the future. But right now, I'm just working with him, and he's a great artist to work with because he's just so like focused on the music and doing his thing. Like he's really dedicated. Like I've never seen an artist who worked that hard on their music. Like he's writing music every day. It's crazy. Like he put his first song out in June of 2020 during the
Yeah.
pandemic, and he's put
Okay.
out put out like over 50 songs since. So it's crazy, and he's got like probably hundreds more written and stuff that's waiting to come out. So it's pretty
Oh,
crazy. I got
nice.
lucky.
Well, you must see like a lot of artists and all of that besides, DJing and all that. Like I don't know if you do showcases and stuff like that for, you know, in Ottawa as well, like besides doing parties, like, themed events.
Yeah, I've done some here and there, mainly with the Cranium Showcase. I don't know if you've
Oh,
heard of that.
I'm familiar. Yes, I'm
With
familiar.
Cranium. So last year, I DJ'd at a showcase that they had, and with a bunch of local artists, also some artists, other artists from across Canada,
Okay.
and that was a fun opportunity. Like I really like to kind of be a part of what they're doing and help support them in their performances and stuff. So I enjoy that. I don't do that so much, but I do that from time to time.
Speaking of getting out around Canada, are you playing out like to different cities in Canada or the US or anything like that?
Right now, I'm mainly in Ottawa. I have
Okay.
played in Toronto,
Okay.
but I'm hoping to branch out more. Right now, I have a tentative date in New York.
Oh, nice.
So we'll see what happens there mid-May. But yeah, I'm trying to, put the work in to get myself out there more, do some more stuff internationally. So we'll see what happens. I'm working on it.
Okay, I'm hoping that to see more and a lot more going on. Like, yo, on the real, I've been saying this like the culture has been going on. I've been seeing how things have been evolutionizing and changing in the music and everything. But one thing in the hip hop culture I've been kind of like, I don't know, noticing is like, shouldn't you always have like your own DJ working your set and all of that, like knowing your sound?
That's
Correct me if
ideal,
I'm wrong.
right? That's ideal, and I think that's pretty key to your performances. So you can have that consistency, and it also allows you to perform to your best level when you have someone who knows your music.
Yeah,
I know with King Moses, the artist that I work with, we always try to make sure he has his own DJ because
yeah.
then they get comfortable with you. They know your vibe, what you're trying to do, and when you
And
can practice with
cut
them,
in
it
and
just
out of
makes
their
it a lot better. Yeah.
and the cutting in and out of their mixes and when to drop it and stuff like that. Like it's like you are the instrument. Like musicians, you're like very important. DJs are very important. I've been saying this in certain pods, that DJs are very important. They're the forefront. They make the party. Without the like, take out the DJ out of the party or the event. Wouldn't it be a very boring event?
Right? Yep. Exactly.
So like I always say like this, respect to the DJ all the time. Like, everywhere
Yeah.
I ever go, any event I go bless up to the DJ. Where you going? You know what I mean? And all of that. Like you're good and all that, everything. Because sometimes you don't want the DJ having a bad night. Be like, yo, I've been around
Yeah.
DJ like, oh, what the heck, this artist, da da da. I'm like, whoa, shoot. Like, like I don't know. I know that you DJs go through a lot of pressure too. A lot of pressure.
Yeah, and you know what? DJs have to be more entertainers these days. You can't
Yeah,
just simply be playing the music. You gotta like, get on the mic. You gotta have like, your
you
facts,
get on
like
the
your
mic, right?
transitions and stuff like that. You know what? I'm working on it. I'm working
Okay,
on
all
it.
right.
It's not something that I've always been very comfortable
Like,
doing, but I
like
want
the
to
hype
push myself
person,
into it.
the hype man, the hype person,
Yeah.
like, come on, everybody, wake up. Yeah, and it's
Yeah.
like, yeah, and like, bringing all that and getting the party started here, and all of that.
Exactly. So there's a
But
lot more to it these days. Yeah.
yeah, because you got control of the crowd. It's not only like the performer,
Yeah.
like on the real. Like I have to admit that if I ever been to any event or I don't know showcase or whatnot, I rely a lot on the DJ to be honest with you.
Hmm.
you know, yeah,
Yeah, because
because
they're
the
bringing the
DJ,
energy, they're creating the vibe, they're taking you on a journey, and once they like, they grab the crowd, like you got to be able to hold it too, and like keep them going and keep them entertained. So it's a little work, but yeah,
it's
it's
like,
fine.
well, every DJ has their technique. You know
Mhm.
what I mean? Like they're scratching and all of that. You've been doing it for a few years now and everything. So would
Yeah,
you
I started quite a while back, but then I had been off the scene probably for a good like I don't know, maybe like 8, 9 years, something like that, and then I'd come back out in 2022, probably in the fall of 22. I come back out, but I was off the scene for a little bit.
but
But
you
yeah,
still
started.
be doing your thing, at home and you know what I'm saying? Like you still keep in practice. It's like the
Yeah,
martial arts. Gotta
yeah.
keep
And the crazy thing is that you never forget. Like even if you step away and you go back, it's like second nature. It comes right back to you. So it was easy to get back into it.
well, speaking of the music, how do you feel about the music from the 90s until now? Like, like I'm saying, you've been DJing, you're hearing all this different music and all of that. Yes, you came in and out, but you still have your ear out. You know what I mean? So like I have to admit, like I do ask this question, like, how do you feel how the music is nowadays? Like,
Whew, interesting question. I just find it's changed so much. But you
yes.
do see a lot of the 90s coming back into the new music, so that's kind of
Yeah.
interesting too. Um, hmm. It's just I feel like a lot of the artists these days, especially in hip hop, it's like a lot of them sound pretty similar. I
Uh-huh.
feel like, back in the 90s, when you heard an artist, you knew who each person was as soon as you heard their track. You're
Yeah.
like, oh, this is this person,
Right.
this is that person. And now it's like it kind of it kind of
But
blends together sometimes. You're not quite sure who you're listening to, but
you're
yeah.
saying there's not much variety like back in the day, the different styles and techniques.
Yeah, and the lyrics too. Like you
The
paid more
lyrics.
attention to the lyrics back in the
Yeah.
day, I think with particular artists. Like there are a few these days that, you will kind of sit there and listen to the lyrics, but it was more apparent like back in the 90s where you listen to everything the MC was saying.
And I like this that I could ask you these questions because you're a DJ. So how do you
Mhm.
feel about auto tune?
Uh, I feel like there's a time and place for everything. Some people need it. Some people don't. I know some people use it just to kind of add like
Uh-huh.
a cool effect, but
Yeah.
I feel like if you have the vocals, use your vocals. Don't cover it up with autotune. Like I feel like if you're using autotune a lot, then like it's like you need that help. Maybe you should focus on developing your skills a bit more, and then
Right.
instead of relying on
Right.
that, because
Right.
what are you gonna do when you're on a show? Are you gonna rely on that all the time, or
Well, I like it that I'm getting into this topic here. So I saw something on IG. I forgot who was on Drink Champs, but he was
Mhm.
saying what I call it karaoke music. But anyway, how do you feel when a performer is doing a performance and they're going over their song like completely?
Huh.
'Cause you do instrumentals, I love it that I could ask you these questions because if I ask an artist about these things, they were like, this and that. Like I ask a lot. I'm the devil's advocate. So I like to ask these questions because you are a DJ. So you are keen on the ear, technical. So this is a good question for you. So how do you feel about that?
Um, it's not something that really bothers me all that much, but I'm saying if you can, if you really want to showcase your skills and your vocal ability, then yeah, don't sing over your track. Like just use your instrumental TV track.
Right.
But it's not something that I would say bothers me too much. because a lot of
Well,
artists do it.
well,
Mhm.
my opinion is like yes, a lot of artists do it, and some of them who are up there they do it too. But the
Mhm.
thing is, I think they should only use the add-libs and stuff like that, like for backups and stuff like that, but not the
Mhm.
whole entire song.
Right.
Like that's my opinion on things. Like I'm not an artist, but my ear has been out there because I've been a fan of the music for a long, long time.
Mhm.
And yeah, I've been seeing a lot of too much laziness happening. That's what I call
Mhm.
it too.
Well, it's
Like,
gonna get to a point where they're gonna have to, right? I mean, you can start out that way, but eventually you're gonna have to perform live. You're probably gonna be working with a band, so you gotta get comfortable singing without the full
that,
song if you really
exactly.
wanna get somewhere, you know?
That's right. Because there's so much clout could just get you far. The talent's got to come out, right?
Exactly. Yeah, because I know in different showcases and stuff, artists, you're not allowed to perform over a full track. You have to use like a TV track
That's
um,
right.
or an instrumental. So yeah,
Exactly.
it comes up. You can't rely on it.
Exactly. You can't rely on it. You can't at all. So, like I don't know, it's jokes to me. It is
Mhm.
jokes to me, but you know, how do you feel like now doing searching of music, of course, it's a lot of music out there. Do you
Oh
go with
my
who is what, who's out now, what's going on now, like, because some of this music is ratchet too, like, so like I don't know. I just have to ask that question.
Yeah, well, I mean, I definitely keep my ear to the streets. When I'm out at parties, I listen to things, that maybe, oh, I haven't heard that before. Or it's like, oh, yeah, I have heard that. I need to remember to add that to my crate. Or a lot of times I'll see stuff come through my social media feed for artists that I follow. So sometimes I'll learn about new tracks that way. So there's a lot of different ways that I kind of curate, new music and stuff. I'm also part of a few different record pools. So going through that, sometimes I'll grab, some stuff from artists that I'm familiar with, but then I'll dig through some of the stuff from artists that I'm not so familiar with and kind of pick out the things that I'm vibing to and maybe add that to my crate. But you got to be careful too, because with technology and MP3s, you can get caught up in downloading like so much stuff
Yeah.
that your crates are just like all over the place. And it's just like half of the stuff you don't play. So
And
sometimes you got to be, a bit selective and stuff and what you choose and download and what you're going to play. So it
you
can
must
it
have
can
a
become
lot
a
of
lot.
you must have a lot of storage.
Yeah. That's why a lot
Like,
of DJs have external hard drives,
yeah,
and a
you must
backup
have
one
more
as
than
well, just
one.
in case that one
You
dies.
must,
So
like, you gotta mark them now, huh? Like, this is the terabyte what has all of this on here, da da da,
yeah,
right?
yeah. You really want to try to like keep it to the stuff that you need, not to try to just have everything just because it's there. Like just focus on the stuff you're gonna play.
Mind me ask you, how much portable do you have? Like, like I never asked this question with DJs. Like, you look, it used to be crates of records and stuff, right? So now it's files and files and files. And I know that 1 terabyte can't do the, yeah, you must have like at least five or so.
The one that I carry out with me is I think a two terabyte, and
2D.
then the
Oh,
other one, another one that I have is pretty old actually. That stays at home is a 1 terabyte. But
okay.
yeah, no, it's not full. Like I don't have 2 terabytes worth of music on there, but I do have a lot of stuff that like I don't play. Like I need to
Oh, okay.
go through my
So
crates and
you, there
clear that
might be
out.
a lot of cleaning to do
Yeah.
to make some room.
Yeah. And you know what too, when you're better organized and you don't have like just like every and any kind of music in there, it's easier for you to um make like have better you can have better sets when you're more organized and you're just focused on the stuff that and that people know, and you're just like dropping those. Just makes it easier for you to have like a good set and just drop those tracks that people love and
Speaking of
want to hear.
sets, speaking of sets, so how about your mixes? Do you do like a lot of mixes, like say for instance, like a vocal with a different instrumental if it'll go good with the BPM?
I'm doing that a lot more now. I hadn't been doing it too much in the past, but I'm getting into that more now, especially, with the technology and with like stems and things on the mixers and stuff and the different controllers. So I am experimenting on that with that a little bit more, and we'll be doing that in upcoming mixes and stuff. I know I have I had just started doing mixes again, I think earlier this year. So I've got two quick ones that I've got up on YouTube and and Apple and
You gotta
SoundCloud.
send it. You gotta send the link. You gotta send the link our way. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
straight up for
Yeah, well,
sure.
you can get to everything from it's Karyen.com. So you can
Okay,
get
okay,
to everything there.
okay.
And yeah, so I've got two quick ones up there, but I want to add more on a regular basis.
All right. What? So, what's your equipment? What's your go-to equipment? What you're using?
Ooh, I love my turntables. I love my
Okay.
turntables because that's what I started on.
All
But
right.
I know as things evolve, and if I want to be a more international DJ, I need to be able to adapt to the technology. So I'd started learning to use CDJs a little
Okay.
while ago. And that was fairly recently because I know, like, back in the day when I was more on my turntables, I always kind of looked at using CDJs as actually like you're not a real DJ kind of thing. It was a bit of a like a thing for me. It's like you're only a real DJ if you use vinyl, you know? But I got out of that because I can see as things evolve and
Yeah.
because CDJs are becoming the standard, around the world. So I know I have to get comfortable using that. And then recently I got a like a DJ controller, the portable, all-in-one unit. And that was just for more flexibility with gigs and not having to carry those heavy turntables and the cases and stuff to events. It's just a lot easier to travel around with them. So I've got a bunch of different setups, but yeah, gotta know how to use them all.
True, 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 true. So for like the quality of the music and all that, from you mentioned vinyl, right?
Mhm.
Is it vinyl a little different in the quality of DJing compared to the digital, you know what I mean, the controllers?
Quality. I wouldn't say the quality is that much different. I mean, but it's a different feel. Like the
Okay.
different equipment, it's definitely a different feel. Like if you go from being a vinyl DJ to using like the CDJs or like a controller, it's a
Yeah.
little easier to adapt to the equipment and mixing using that equipment. But if you go from like say like a controller to like or CDJs to vinyl, it's harder. It's harder to kind of um, to learn how to mix that way. So
What would you advise that someone who wanted to start DJing and all that, just like school, shouldn't you know like the history about a little bit of history of it so you could really be passionate about it, or just go right into it?
well, I mean, if you can get your hands on turntables or work with someone who does and like, yeah, actually learn that, like get the foundation and see where it comes from, I would say go for that. I know it's probably not as easy to find these days,
Yeah.
but if you can, 100%,
If you're
because then you can
fortunate,
kind
of
of,
course. Yes, of
mhm,
course.
yeah, absolutely.
But learning nowadays, of course, the new tech is the the midis, of course. You have to try to master it, a certain technique and way, of course, with mixing and how, like, how with vocals and beats and all of that. Like, how do you determine how to pick and choose? Do you go by BMP or by the artist or by your favorites? How, like, what's your mindset? I'm just curious.
It's definitely, well, my crates are organized definitely by BPM. So I kind of just pick anything sort of out of that range or a couple BPMs higher to mix in. And it's kind of just what I think is going to go great with the next track. I'll kind of go through, I'll maybe might cue something up, kind of listen and be like, do I like that? Or do I think people will feel that? So it's kind of just, you kind of feel it out as you go. Like I don't plan sets when I go to clubs. I usually just kind of you get there early enough so you can kind of hear what the other DJs are playing, and then when you go on, you kind of just vibe off of that. So I never really have like a set list that I'm going to play from because you never know. Someone could play out everything in your set, and what are you going to do before you go on? So what are you going to do then? So and then you have to be ready to adapt. And I think that's why having your crates organized is key, and having just like the stuff you're going to play is key because then you can just kind of go in and just like do your thing, pulling from stuff that and stuff that people are gonna like. So
Would you ever teach?
if I have the time, I've been asked that before. I mean, if I had the
Yeah.
time, I would
Yeah.
consider it. Yeah, absolutely.
So you have been asked. Okay. All right.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been
Maybe.
asked a few times over the years. It's just because I'm into so many different things, it's hard
Okay.
to find that time. Yeah, because there's the DJing, there's the the artist management thing.
Okay.
Starting getting into like promoting parties and stuff now as
All
well.
right.
And yeah, there's all kinds of
More,
stuff going on. So
more than one hat we're seeing here now. Being a promoter and everything, management and everything.
yeah, trying
Multi-
that, trying that.
That's
Yeah.
great. I love it. I love it a lot. I love it a lot. Keep it up. Keep it up. So wait a minute. Are you DJing on I seen that what on a radio station? Are you DJing on a radio station as well or
I have I think a mix that they're going to play on
okay.
Monday, and then I'll have another sort of interview and mix that I'll do later in May as well.
Oh, okay. So you do have a DJ set going
Yeah.
on every tell the people what
Oh,
when
are
was
you
that?
talking about like a party, you mean?
No, 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 no. I'm
Oh,
like saying like a steady like every week on
oh,
the
on radio? No, not right now. No,
okay, okay. I was
no.
just wondering. But well, hey, speaking of promotions, what's coming up for you for the next party?
The next party is going to be a party called Mad Out. They started with another
Motto?
DJ here in Ottawa. Yeah, we call it
Okay.
Mad Out. It's MAWD,
All right.
Mad Out, and it's a Afrobeats, soca, and dancehall party.
Nice.
We started that here in Ottawa actually in February, and then shortly after that, we were approached to take it to Toronto. So we just tried that mid-April, and
Okay.
we may bring it back in June. So we're trying to, grow that brand, grow that party, and that's
Okay.
something in Ottawa that we do the last Friday of every month. And then Toronto, we'll kind of see. We might do it like a bi-monthly kind of thing. But right now we have one in April, and we may bring it back in June. We're just kind of discussing
Well,
things and working things out to see what makes sense.
well, let us know when you're in Toronto. We'll cover that media for you, girl. You know
One
what I
hundred
mean?
percent. 100%.
Straight up goods. You know what I mean? Straight up goods from the capital to the T dot. You
You got
know,
it.
straight up goods. But hey, could you let them know where they could find you on all digital platforms?
So you can find me at itskaryen.com, my website, or you can go to at DJ Karyen on all other social media platforms. That's Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook.
It's been great
Oh,
having
YouTube. Sorry.
you on here. Straight up. But before we go, could you give Down to Earth Podcast a nice shout out before we go?
Yo, yo, yo. What's up to Down to Earth Podcast? Thank you so much for having me. It's been a pleasure. You guys are amazing and keep doing your thing.
Thank you very much. You heard it here first from the Rastafari Samurai, never leaving you dry in your eye. I approve this message nationwide. Thank you for coming on, my dear. It's been a pleasure having you, and it's been an honor. We are ending the broadcast.
Thank you so much for having me.